Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Manoj Sakya. I am your host today, and today is the third episode of Graduate Chat Series, and I'd like to welcome you all in this chat series. And I would like to also welcome our guest today. He is none other than Chuanxia Zheng. If I'm not wrong in the pronunciation of his name, I'm sure, it's correct, I guess. Yeah, so Chuanxia, in short, I can say this word, I guess. Cheng is your surname, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Chuanxia, I would like to first congratulate Chuanxia for receiving the most outstanding, Ph.D. Thesis Award 2022. And he is right now in China, but he will soon be traveling to other countries for the further work. And I wish you all the best for that, Chuanxia. And I think your research basically is related to, your thesis is related to kind of image kind of thing. I believe that one, but let's hear more about your yourself and then your research work in the beginning. We will then continue to understand how you actually make yourself strong enough to get this award. It's a wonderful award, in fact. And then my participants here today, they will, if they have any queries, they will ask you certain kind of questions, and then within 20 to 25 minutes, we can wrap up our discussions. I hope this session will be very helpful to all our participants to think of like up to that level, making our own research work up to that level. And I hope you will definitely inspire us in the future. So without further delay, Chuanxia, let me welcome you here in this discussion today. And can you please start this conversation sharing about yourself, your habit, and then a little bit about your research work itself. Chuanxia.
Okay, thank you for this introduction. Because I also prepared a very simple slides, and you can quickly understand my research. Currently, could you see my slide?
Yes, I can. We can see your slide.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so thank you for your invitation. It's my great honor to be here to share my research experience at NTU. So my research interest actually focus on this computer vision and machine learning, especially for this scene generation and synthesis. And I have done a wide range of works on this 2D and 3D image generation and synthesis, because with the goal to synthesize a photorealistic visual world. And currently, I am an AI research counselor, but this is just a short time, as you mentioned. I will join into the VGG group at Oxford in November. And before that, I graduated from this Nanyang Technological University, and then I joined into this Monash University as a research fellow, and I have a very fantastic time with the supervisor Tenzin Chen and Jim Fei for these two universities. Yeah, so that's my brief introduction for that.
Wow, so that's great. That's amazing. I mean, after finishing PhD in 2021, Chuanxia, you traveled to Monash University, or is it like actually, just a collaboration?
Just a remote work, actually. But actually, my position is in Monash University. I have a official or research fellow position at Monash University. But currently this visa application is a little challenging, and I wait a long time. So I just remotely work.
Yeah. Right. I understand that. So, Chuanxia, can you briefly explain like what does your whole thesis actually is about? Like you say like 2D and 3D generation and translation, but then what actually it is? Because we all are pretty scholar, I mean, good scholars here. So we'd like to know a little bit about, technical aspect of your thesis.
Okay, thank you for interesting. Because for me, actually, I want to build this photorealistic visual world. So the first question is, what is real? I'm not sure whether for the audience they have saw this movie The Matrix or not. Because for me, when I was young, yeah, this is a very famous one. And in this scenario, actually, Morpheus and Neo hold a very interesting topic about what is real. And Morpheus actually gave a very impressive idea at that year. And he claimed actually what we can see, what we can hear, and what we can smell, or what we can touch, feel. Actually, it's just this electrical information reflected in our brain. So actually, this is the grand goal for the research people. They want to create such a visual realistic world so that the people can enjoy a second life in it. And the more important actually is that if you see this movie, actually you...
Yeah, we can see the video.
Yeah, maybe we can see a very short one quickly. Yeah. So actually you can say this is not a real video actually. It's totally created by the engineer rendering system based on this physical and mathematical rendering method. And so we can say this grass, this lighting, this shadow, even this window, actually we call this is very realistic. But this traditional method actually is very expensive, means only the special person can create such a realistic visual world, and it will take a lot of computer cost or something like that. So when I started my PhD at 2019, at 2017, actually, I found how about combine this with the deep learning, whether we can use the learning method to create such a thing. So that's my motivation for this part, and I started my research to create such a thing. And then we do this step by step. In the final, we can build such a realistic visual thing, but just for a very small scenario, not just the whole real world. Yeah.
Wow. So these scenes can be generated. You don't need to go there, and then the scene does not have to be there at all. I mean, your research work can generate this scene directly from the machine, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah. This is totally generated from the machine. We didn't provide any image or something during the inference or something. Yeah, just the totally rendering. Actually, if you know the metaverse, actually, this is a very hot topic from last year.
Absolutely, I agree with that point. But then, what sort of techniques you have used here to generate this kind of, real scenes?
Before that, actually, traditional method were using this physical rendering method. They were design many mathematical methods to do such a rendering. Currently, it's more like we build this on deep learning, means we give some random noisy or partial visible information, and then the network aim to build such a thing. So this the goal actually is a very cheap way, means we try to make these tools can be really applied by the common user, like you and I, for the other people, they don't know the technology. So I'm not sure whether you use this TikTok or ByteDance products or something like that. Actually, they provide many medical application on them app, and so you can modify the face, you can generate some real face. And more important, actually, currently there are some deep face or something like that. You can change one person to another one to generate this video. And currently there is a very hot topic is this AI art creation. This is a very hot topic. Means give you one sentence or some text, you can generate such an image with very realistic appearance. Yeah. So our goal actually is like that, using some learning-based method to generate it.
Well, that's great. I mean, you are inspired with the Matrix movie. Is that true? Like you mentioned, I mean, that's why you actually started working in this field, or there is something else as well?
Yeah, actually, if we know this Meta University, it's very hot from last year, and the Facebook actually changes them the name to this Meta. And also the Laveda or something also provide such a meta university to try to, currently they try to connect this visual and the real world. And they also try to build such 3D avatar, means the 3D head and body for the real application. And however, currently actually those companies just provide some toy example. Like if you use this meta application, they just provide some toy example is a cartoon image, not the real person. But actually NTU is a really pioneer for this direction. In the 20 years ago, actually NTU has tried to explore some project for the VR and AR. And for my center, this in their center at IMI NTU, actually this is a pioneer for that. 10 years ago, our center actually aimed to build such a 3D representation without the eyeglass. Currently, they still use the eyeglass, but 10 years ago, our center actually tried to build such a 3D representation without the glass. And when I joined this center in 2013, I really like this topic, and I have a very first meeting with my supervisor, and we decided how about to create such a visual world. Oh, when I had this idea, I think, wow, this is really impressive. I want to do this. If I can really build such a photorealistic visual world, the people can enjoy it. And I also link this to the metrics. I think, wow, if in the future, maybe currently it still have some challenge, but there is a survey to say that maybe after the 20 years later, in 2040, we can get such a small visual world so that people can enjoy a second life in it.
Absolutely. I agree with you, Chuanxia. So may I ask you, like, who was supervising your thesis work, Chuanxia?
Tenjin Chen is a really good supervisor.
Yeah. Absolutely. He must be very proud of you because you have worked a lot actually here. I can feel that one. Chuanxia, let me put this question very straight. Like, why do you think your thesis work, it's a wonderful work, of course. I mean, what sort of things are there that your work deserve to be an outstanding thesis?
I think the most part is that for my thesis, actually it's organized for one main goal. It's not a separate part in the thesis. It's always try to around this main goal to do this synthesized photorealistic visual world. So as you can see, actually the first three parts in this slide is my content in my thesis. And for the first part, I go to do this task and try to do a simple task to change the visual appearance or like the lighting, the shadow or the texture of this image, and then make this photorealistic. And then in the second stage, I go to say how to create some content based on the partial visible information. And so I go to explore this image composition task. And in the final part of this one, I go to explore the real world 3D reconstruction and try to understand this occlusion relationship, understand this object, then the rendering relationship and what being occluded part. So this is, I guess it's more important, it's a step by step to create this thesis and make this around this main topic of this synthesized photorealistic visual world. I think this part is really important for the PhD student. You will not just go to publish some separate paper, you should have your own opinion and have your own idea for some special topic. And you can really, when you discuss with other people, you really understand for this topic very deep. So then you got your PhD, you finish this, yeah.
Absolutely, it's not it's not very simple. I mean, the way you explain, I mean, it takes time, it takes very hard work, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
I mean, you need to you work. You need to work pretty hard to visualize all these things. And then I feel like I mean, I'm very happy that your work is really great and you won this award. But then again, this you think of something and you try to solve that one. You created, like, you think of geometry, you think of content, occlusions, and then you went up to the 3D modeling also. but then a winning thesis, you won this award. I mean, it's not a simple task. It's not a joke as well. I mean, it's really, so to make your thesis a kind of winning thesis, I mean, how does it look like? I mean, in terms of the structure itself, like there is a thesis, there are things, but how do you, formulate that thesis? I mean, in terms of your content, I mean, the structure of the thesis itself.
Yeah, this actually is a very important part after you, because in the first step, when in the first year I start my PhD, I have tried to think about it to say, what is the main goal I want to achieve? So I always do the research around this main goal. And then after I finish these papers published on some top conference and journals, I think I can easily organize them to a whole target paper. And then I just focus on tell a good story in the start for my thesis to say why I want to do this task and what's the main goal I want to achieve and what's the current issue we want to address. So this is a step-by-step in the introduction part, and for the content part in the thesis actually is more mainly composed by those step works. And actually you can say this is go deeper step by step from the appearance to the content to the 3D understanding to the content. So this I think it's also my study in my PhD. I first do some easy thing, and then I go to think deeper in some question, and then I go to explore a difficult, challenging task, and then finally I organize them together to get a completed thesis. And this is always around a key topic.
That's great. I mean, yeah. So thinking critically is also very important, right? Like you said, what is my main goal? It has to be very clear. Then only we can contribute something to that particular area, right?
Yeah. So actually, this I think how to what is more important for this thesis is the good research direction. You must first clearly understand this part. Maybe for the first year PhD student, this part is very hard to find. You don't know which direction is a good direction, which direction is important and significant one in the next 5 or 10 years. Right. So that's in the first year, we must deeply discuss with our supervisors to say, and when we got some idea or we got some main direction for this, main issues for this direction, we must keep discussing with our supervisor to say, because actually for most time, the supervisor have experience in this direction for more than 10 or 20 years, and they can give you a very inside comments to say whether this direction is good or not. So then after you choose this good direction, then you can start your research.
Right. I agree with the fact that discussion with your supervisor is also a very important aspect to make your work up to that level. Yes, absolutely right. So Chuanxia, let me quickly understand your thoughts about what sort of skills do you think to have a very, good research like you did? What kind of skills do you think you need? What kind of research skills, what sort of research skills, in your opinion?
In my opinion, actually, the most important part actually is the self-motivation. This is the first key point. You must enjoy what you are doing. You must enjoy this topic. You must pay more attention to your work and feel passionate on it. And then you can really feel, oh, when I address the real issues and the real problem in this direction, I will feel very happy. I think, wow, I really moving this direction a little step from the work. And then the second point actually is from my supervisor. When I first have a first meeting with him, he gave me a very good point. I never had this one. Believe yourself, because if we know this artifact development you are from, maybe some points in the previous paper or something is wrong. So you must, if you cannot just directly believe them, you must try yourself to do the experimental and to try all of them. And once you get your own result, you see, you can claim you believe it or not. And sometimes maybe other people will claim this is not an interesting address or not an interesting topic. But if you yourself really believe this one is important, you should keep on doing that. And the final one, I think, is go to rethinking before you're doing something. Yeah, so this is very important for the Asian student. When we always do a lot of experimental, but when we first do the experiment, we must go to think deeper to see what's the key issue and what's the key problem in this direction, and then we go to do that. We find the suitable solution for that. But we may need to a good motivation for that. So after we do those good experimental and good research output, then you go to write the paper or thesis actually will be an easy thing. Yeah.
So you mean paper writing is also one of the skills that that you think is very important in writing a thesis? So there is one very debatable kind of thing. I mean, do you really need to publish papers to have a good PhD thesis?
No, I don't think so. I guess for the PhD, if you want to get your PhD position, actually it's whether you really understand this direction, whether you have your own opinion on this direction, and whether you can really tell what's the development of this direction and what's the issue of this direction and whether my solution to that is what. So it's not just about publishing the paper. Yeah.
Right. Yes. With this one, I think I really agree again with you. The fact that you need to have that passion on what actually you are doing. If there is no passion, if there is no kind of motivation, then you're not going anywhere else, right?
Yeah,
you're not going forward. So you need to have that passion with the work that you are working. That's the point, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, and you must believe what you are doing is really important for the, no matter for the human or for the community, something like that. What you done? Because for the NTU is a very good school, and for those PhD students, you are really deserve to do a very important task and important question to address the real issue in the world. Yeah.
Right. That's a great statement from Chuanxia, I think. Yes, I'll never forget this statement just now you mentioned. You must believe on the work that your work is going to impact a lot of people. I mean, it's very important, and very important work that you are working on. You have to believe on that fact, right? Yes, I agree. By the way, Chuanxia, have you ever enrolled into the course called Research Communication that NTU offers here? Have you come across this course? There is like research integrity and then research communications, like where you have you're going to gain idea about writing introduction, writing literature review, something like that. Have you enrolled into that kind of courses here in NTU?
Sure. I take the academical writing course at NTU. I really like this course because currently I still can remember some contents from this class, such as I remember the teacher tell us in the first step, the first class tell us how to organize this related work or some introduction to say this is important to do academical research because we must first know what's the development of this direction, and then you go to do your you based on the previous work to build up on them, and then you go do a impressive research on them.
Absolutely.
And actually, after I finished this class, for my first conference paper, I discussed with this teacher, and I also asked her to give some suggestions and comments to my paper. It's really helpful. No matter maybe she's not the research in this direction, but he can give you some general comments. For the academic, general comments for this academic writing and the academic rule, something like that.
Tips and tricks on how to make your writing look great. right?
Yeah.
Tips and tricks.
Because of maybe traditionally we just describe our work, but actually the paper writing something is how to sell, how to highlight your work, make other people to see this problem is really important, and then your solution to sell the key motivation and the key technology novelty for them. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Chuanxia, you selected this slide. You want to share something about this slide?
Oh,
quickly?
This one actually is just we do not have this video. Actually, this is a very impressive video. We can see for most of my works, no matter for the visual appearance and also for the 3D or 2D something generation modification. I still believe this one will be move a little step for this photorealistic visual world creating, and I hope this can be helpful for the future. And also, this is my my website QR code, and I actually scan
you
this
mean
one.
This QR code, right?
Yeah, this is.
It takes us to the ME QR code. Okay, this is.
We will update all our latest research
work.
Yeah, and actually for our work, for most of our, for all of my own work, actually we will release the project, release the code or something. We think this is very important for the research people to reproduce the work and also contribute to the company or something. Oh, actually I remember one important thing is important for the research is that how to address the real problem in the real world. So for our thesis, actually one point is that for 2 of our code actually is conducted by the 5 companies. They want to buy our code for the commercial use. So they connect with the NTU Central and try to buy this code. So that I think this is also one important part for why my thesis is on this
wonderful award.
Because this really contributed to the commercial for this company and also really useful for some company to address the real issue. Yeah.
Great. I mean, I'm really happy with your achievements, and I really wish you good luck in your future endeavors. Definitely. So let's quickly wrap up the things now. I request participants, if you have any queries, please. You can raise your hand and then you can directly ask a question, or if you want to, write your query in the chat section, you can also do that one. But until now, I'm going to finally ask one last question to Chuanxia. Chuanxia, what suggestions would you like to, share with us? I mean, we are all like, in the PhD journey right now, and you have already passed that PhD journey with a wonderful work, with a wonderful contribution in the scientific domain. So what sort of, kind of suggestions or your advice would you like to provide us?
I guess I have provided some, my own opinion previous to say, you must be patient of your work and believe yourself, something like that. And maybe the final one is, a PhD actually is just one journal for your life. It's not the most, you can enjoy your research time during that time, and you can learn many different things to accept the different opinions, something like that. Yeah.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you, Chuanxia. I think we are almost, at the end of the program, and I would like to thank every participant here. Like, we all really want to, work, present a great work to the scientific domain. Absolutely, that's true. But one of the participants quickly wrote something, Lin Xiaohao. So, hi, can I ask for communication tips with the supervisor? Like when you have different ideas with her, how do you convince her politely? It's a I mean, very good question, but
yeah.
What's your opinion?
Yeah, this actually is a very good question. Actually, generally, if we really have our own opinion for this research direction, we will have such a case. We will have different opinions with the supervisor sometimes. And for me, most time actually we because I have a regular meeting every week with my supervisor, and we will discuss those ideas together. And sometimes when I do a task is for some new idea, he will say this is not a good one or something. I will try to sell my idea to him, because actually you can consider your supervisor as the first review or something to discuss. If you cannot ask them to agree with your opinion, and sometimes you cannot ask other people to agree with this one. So you must push yourself to say try your best to sell your idea. And if they give some comments to say this is not a good direction, this is not a good point, but actually most of the times the supervisors are correct, because they have more than 10 or 20 experience for the research academic. But in the final, if you talk many times with him and with her or him, and you still believe your research is important and is really important, you can go to do it. And then after you achieve some result, you can show to him to say, yeah, you can say this one is a very good one, and this is in person, and I can achieve very good result. And it's also important to the academical and also the company. Because for myself, actually, my very famous, my very important work is Chicken Egg, try to provide this multiple and diverse result. It's totally developed by my own, and also in the first step, I go to get this idea. My two supervisors also think, oh, other people do not consider. Why you consider this one? I don't think we need to consider this. We must to improve the accuracy or something. But I still believe for the general people, we consider this question, and then I do the experimental and I show the result to them, and finally they agree with, oh, this is really interesting and good result, something like that.
Yes, I totally agree with you, Chuanxia, and then I'm really motivated by your work and whatever you said here. But let me take one last question. Hi, Chuanxia. It's from Anran. Thank you very much for your sharing. How did you handle problems and frustrations like papers in the area being confusing, such as like results not applicable or paper rejection? It's there in the chat.
I saw this one. This is very also a very good question for this general case we will fix. For the first one, the results are not replicable. Currently, this is a key issue for the AI research. For most research, actually, we have noticed this issue. And currently, for many good researchers, actually, we want to build a claim to say, for all of our work, we show the public our model and public our code or something like that, and to ensure in the default environment, we should can reproduce our work. But for some paper, if you cannot reproduce this one, maybe we can just ask the whether we have some error or something like that. As for the paper rejection, yeah, this for the no matter if you know the history of this architect development, actually one of many famous people actually they also be rejected by the top conference of top journals. Like for this Google Lens paper actually is being rejected for this search algorithm. And in the final, they just put in some very famous algorithm. They just put on a curve or something. If you really believe your research, you should think your research is to address the real issue in the real world, rather than the publication actually is just one output for our research, but it's not our final goal. Our final goal is to address the problem, address the issue. And if you believe it's really useful, we don't necessarily to care about its rejection or not. And actually, there is another example from my supervisor. He wrote a paper and rejected by the CVPR, also a top conference in computer vision. And then in the next year, he didn't do any modification, and then submitted this to the ICCV and got this oral. And also he also got some best paper and something like that. And some paper is also being rejected. I think it's a normal
procedure.
Process. Yeah. And if we believe this is the good work, we should just share them again or something. And if this is a really good one, some people will notice this.
Yes, I totally agree with Chuanxia, and then I think Anran also agree with the with your point that rejection is a natural process in the publication. I think so. We shall not get disheartened with that fact, and then we shall believe on our work itself, and then my work is going to impact to the society. So rejection in one conference or in journal should not be blocking the path that we are moving ahead, right? Chuanxia Zheng, thank you so much accepting our invitation, and Anran definitely would like to congratulate you and saying all the best to you also. And I also, on behalf of all graduate students and all the participants, would like to congratulate you once again and our best wishes for your future endeavor. And I also like to thank every participants here. So we will definitely upload this video to our YouTube channel, and I will be in touch with you, Chuanxia, to get some information about your thesis work or papers, and then we can share all the links of the paper to in our YouTube channel. Thank you, Chuanxia.
Okay,
thank you so much. We'll be in touch. Definitely.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for attending this wonderful discussion with Chuanxia Zheng. Thank you, guys. We'll see you in the next episode. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Have a nice day.
Bye-bye. Have a nice day, man. Bye-bye.